Hello. Today I wanted to talk about not judging a book by its cover. Recently, I had the privilege of speaking to a friend, and no offense to this friend, but some people might consider him boring. And it's not because he does nothing, but it's more like you could ask him about his life and he won't share much. And I've been that guy too. I've been the guy where people would ask me about myself and I say a one-word answer and no response. And I don't have any emotion behind it. I don't share a story about myself. I just give them the one-word answer, and I've been that guy, and sometimes I still am that guy. And I've been trying to change that. But what struck me recently is that I was talking to this guy, and like specifically this time, I guess I was trying to avoid boring conversation subjects like how are you doing, or what was your weekend like. These are questions that everybody asks, and they're not bad to ask. But the problem is that sometimes nothing happened. And what am I supposed to say when nothing happened? What are they supposed to say when nothing happened? And I did have a question for this guy that I really wanted to ask, but it was kind of on a touchy subject. I'm not going to reveal it here, but basically, it took a little bit of, like, it made me a little bit worried to ask this question to this guy. Not really for, like, it just seemed like this could go wrong if I asked this in the wrong way. So I asked him the question. I did it gently, no pressure. He didn't have to share anything if he didn't want to. And he shared with me like what he was really going through. And that was something that I had guessed he was going through, but I had not really known for sure. And being able to hear that experience from him and to know what he was going through, I actually found myself like interested in what he had to say. Not that what he was saying before wasn't interesting, but there's a how do I describe it? There is a longing for deeper conversations about things that can sometimes get emotional. And what I realized was that here was this guy who I previously thought as a little bit boring. And here he was telling me like what his struggles were, what his real struggles were. And it just made me realize like behind every single person you see out there, there's a story. And the people who are fun, the people who are engaging, people who talk a lot, who share a lot, they get asked for their stories all the time. And they get to share those stories all the time. But rarely do the quiet ones have an opportunity or a moment to share their story, to share what they think, to share what they're struggling with. Could you be that person who asks them these things, who makes them feel not so alone in this world? Because I'll be honest, for me, I had somebody who wouldn't take like a one-word answer for an answer. In my life, I had somebody who, when she would ask me how my day went, she actually wanted to know how my day went. Like, she wouldn't just accept, oh, my day was good, it was okay. She wouldn't accept that from me. She would actually tell me, what did I do today? And I would have to like start formulating what had happened during the day. And to me, it was such a weird experience because I had never done that. And it's like, well, if it's boring to me, why would I care about sharing it? But doing that, it helped me to understand that the best stories are found in the little things and in the common struggles that we all have. And the whole point of me talking about this is that I didn't expect this friend of mine to I don't know, it's like after I found this out, my emotions toward him kind of changed. Like, I didn't see him as this kind of boring person who didn't share much about himself. Now I saw him as this guy who had struggles, but he was still showing up. He was still putting in the work. He still put on a smile for everybody. And that takes a lot of effort, especially when you're going through as much as he was going through. But the point of this video is to tell you that there's a guy or a girl who you see every so often, and to you they seem kind of boring. But are they really? Could you be the person who asks them what they are struggling with, or what's on their mind, or what do they want for themselves, or some deep question, some deep connection that you can form with them? Because before this, like, typically I was afraid to ask these kinds of questions because they were touchy, and I didn't want to get involved in all that. And I felt like it wasn't my place to get involved in that. But now I understand it's not my place to get involved in that. But sometimes people just need to tell somebody what's going on. And I consider it a privilege to be trusted enough by someone that they would tell me these kind of deep things. And if everyone's like, it is like a separate topic, but like, everyone complains about small talk, but rarely are people brave enough to like bring up these deep conversations and these issues that people are really thinking about. Could you be that person? It's not... In our minds, we kind of make it more difficult than it is to actually ask the question. And, you know, when I asked this guy this question, I just kind of had to do it. Like, I still was uncomfortable asking the question, but just the action step here. Phrase that question in a way that is gentle, understanding, and doesn't really demand an answer. Like, I want to know, but if you don't want to tell me, you do not have to. And I'm not gonna, this is confidential, I'm never gonna tell anyone this stuff. This is between you and me. And you better keep your word if you do say stuff like that, because I think it's vile when somebody lies after saying something like that. Completely vile. But yeah, that was it for this video. The point was, everybody has a story, and you can be that person who brings it out of them and helps them out of a tough time. You know, consider it a privilege. Not everyone gets to do this. In a world growing up, in a world where social connection is becoming more difficult to form, you can be this person who people just go to when they need someone to talk to and connect with. And you should consider it a privilege because not everybody gets to do this. But yeah, that was it for this video. Thank you for watching.